been an easy season. They have struggled since the start of the year. So, yeah, good to see Canet there and with a chance. And as well, you know, you'll see that for Canet, obviously, he's used to fighting at the front the previous years. So for him, he'll see that as a massive opportunity to make a comeback and make it count.
Okay, we can hear a little bit more about Manu. Nat is with Tom Luthi from Dynavolt.
Well, Tom, we've just seen a pretty special Moto3 race just to warm the day up. What kind of Moto2 race are you expecting here?
Yeah, I think we have to let go this guy through the first chicane after the start. It's always quite tight, let's say, there. And then it's, I think in the Moto2 class, even more important to take care of the tires, especially the rear tire for all the guys. So maybe we see a little bit more tactics than we are used to from other Moto2 races.
How is Manu feeling at the front row of the grid?
Good, good, good. He did a phenomenal job over the weekend, and he was really working throughout all the weekend, more or less, just for the race, for the main event of today. And I think he's prepared well.
Senna just right behind you. How's he felt this weekend?
Yeah, Senna was strong. He was fast over all the practices. Just in qualifying, didn't match everything quite together. But I think, yeah, the lap times are tight, and with a good start and a little bit of luck in the first lap to be in the right position to find the rhythm, I think he still have a good chance to play up in front.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
Yeah, Senna ages there, starting from the 4th row in 12th. You'd expect him to move forward there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because he's got Ihsan Guevara next to him.
Yeah.
He's been fast all week.
He's out of position,
totally out of place. And then Daniel Gordo, who's a row in front in 8th place, another rider who could win. Obviously has won Moto2 races and loves it round here. So it's a mishmash, isn't it?
But it's because the top 14 are within a second. I mean, it is that tight. He mentioned it there, Tom Luthi, didn't he? We can hear from Colin Veyer now from the front row. Nat's with him.
Colin, we know looking after the tyres is going to be really important here. Also with the penalty that we discussed yesterday, what are you going to be happy with after today's race, do you think?
With decent amount of points. I think we just tried to get into the race, tried to do the long lap as late as possible, and hope there were some gaps behind me, and then to hope to rejoin without to lose not any position, or to maybe lose like 2 positions maybe, hoping on that. But no, it's going to be a hard race. I think it's going to be a very long one also on the end. But we'll try our best and see where we can end up.
Thanks, Colin.
Well, it's going to be a little bit longer for Colin Veyer because he's got the long lap penalty, as was discussed there. Such a shame, really, but obviously from last weekend and the misdemeanor.
Still in with a chance, though, because the race pace is going to be so much slower than the lap times they could generate, you know, on one lap. With those Pirelli tyres around here, the grip on one lap on a tyre is new. Is making a massive difference. So they're all saying it, actually, so they know what's coming. They're going to have to manage that rear tyre. They're going to have to nurse it. And so the lap times are going to be slower. So we could see a race a little bit where the leaders are waiting because they don't want to damage their tyres too much. And so that could, lead to many overtaking. That could lead to a group. We've got a bit of a tailwind as well in the main straight, which means it's a headwind coming out of turn 9 onto turn 10. So that means that we could see some attacks there into turn 10 that could favor that during the race. So it's going to be really, really interesting. We've got many riders with a close pace. And like I said, lap times during the race, that is going to be much slower than what we've seen in qualifying.
Do you think we might see some riders here that might be a little bit frustrated by that and go early and burn tyres?
Absolutely.
And if so, who are we looking at? Possibly, I've kind of got my thumb next to somebody. I think.
Luca Lunetta,
yeah.
Honestly, you were like pointing to it, but you made me smile asking that question because he's a rookie, he's a fiery young Italian, injured early on in the year, so missed a few rounds, but he's the sort that'll take the opportunity and think, oh, I will lead, I'll put myself up there, and potentially he might burn his tyres out, or he might not.
But he should take the chance.
You've got to. These are the ones. Get yourself up there. Get yourself in that battle with the main men. Another shout out. I know we keep naming loads of riders, but you've got Rueda, last year's Moto3 world champion, started this season slow in Moto2, but what a weekend he's had.
Yeah.
Got much better pace. Started from the 3rd row of the grid, and he's smooth. He's a really smooth rider. If anyone can save the tyres, it's the rookie Rueda.
You have to doff your hat to Rueda after having been in that horrific situation last year, you know, where he almost lost his life, and coming back from that, because not only the physicality but the mental side of what went on. So just Izan Guevara, I think we have mentioned him once, but what a fighter he is.
Oh yeah, and he's gonna fight during that race. In Le Mans, he was untouchable. He topped every session and got away with the win. So yeah, keep an eye on Guevara as well.
Going to be a lot of strategy in this one. Then your front row is Manu Gonzalez, Colin Vire, and Celestino Vietti is in pole position. Your second offering of the day, Michael, is alongside Gav.
Thanks very much. There is your front row. Yes, Manu Gonzalez, your championship leader, there on the outside. Colin Vire has a penalty to take. For Celestino Vietti, it is from pole, a new all-time lap record. Loads of people with race pace behind. This one is going to get lively. Good afternoon from Barcelona now. It's just coming up to 12:15, and welcome to Moto2 at the Catalan Grand Prix. 21 intriguing laps await us, with the clouds having rolled over. The track have been cooled by that. Celestino Vietti was the star on Saturday. His pole came, a new all-time lap record in Moto2. First pole since Austria 2024, and he went on to win that race, I remind you, at Acanto. Last year's race winner there, Dani Olgado, down in 8th. So many people with pace like Senna Aegis, but just qualifying out of sync as Izan Guevara, the race winner from France, is down there on that 4th row as well. Sergio Garcia is a previous winner, and he's down in 20th on the grid, on the 7th row of the grid as we go right back. Joe Roberts, also someone who led a Moto2 race around this circuit. Suratuza replacing Navarro at the back of the field. I remind you that Vire's in second. He's got a long lap penalty to take from an indiscretion in Le Mans. Michael, there's serious depth in the field today, but no doubt about it, Celestino Vietti has been consistently fast all weekend.
Yeah, it's good to see the turnaround of fortunes for the Italian on the Speed RS machine. He's leading the way here in the warm-up lap, been leading the way in terms of qualifying and one-lap pace, but also the Boscoscuro keeps its tyres, or has done historically over the years. Can he make that really count today?
Last year and the year before, race laps from the start to the end dropped by 4 seconds during the course of the race. Track temperatures, though, air 18, ground 24. I mean, when we come here, we're used to air 32, track 55, you know, completely different. What does that mean?
Yeah, tyres, again, is the biggest factor whenever the temperature shift happens. Obviously, Pirelli will have brought rubber compounds that they will have planned for those type of track temperatures up in the 40 and 50 degree range, so it's cooler. Like I spoke about in Moto3, you have the risk of the cold tear on the left side, and it does seem like the front tyre has been an issue for Moto2 this weekend. Everyone opted for the SC0 rear on the Moto2 grid, but there is a bit of a mixed bag in terms of soft and harder front options. So middle of the front row, Colin Vire on that hard front. Middle of the third row, Dani Olgado on the hard front, and then David Alonso going for the hard front, but everyone else seemed to feel that they can make the soft go the distance on the front of the machine. But yeah, I think these cool temperatures will shake things up, and we've seen it in the past here. Moto2, the drop in lap time is quite drastic.
Yeah, and you'd be sat at home maybe in the UK thinking, 18? I love that. 24 track temperature, not bad, but it's not what you expect, is it? And it's a low grip track anyway.
Yeah, low abrasion surface, quite polished, the stone isn't too sharp, and the wind is quite chilly. You can feel it out in the paddock, you can feel it when you ride a scooter on the service road. It's cold, and that does cool especially the front tyre. You lose some temperature and it begins to band, it begins to wear.
Here we go then. Celestino Vietti was on pole last, Austria 24, and he won that by a margin. Will he do the same again today from pole position? Still searching for first win of the year. We've had 4 different winners. Will there be a 5th in round 6 of the 2026 Moto2 World Championship? Your leader is Manu Gonzalez. He starts third. Fire in between he and Vietti on the front row of the grid with a penalty to take. Here we go then. Revs up, lights out, Moto2 underway at the Catalan Grand Prix. An excellent start from Celestino Vietti, an even better one from Manuel Gonzalez. Always launches well, as does Alonso Lopez on the 21. Down towards the first corner, it's going to be Gonzalez leading them through. Watch out for the lunge from Lopez. Oh, doesn't come, but there is a lunge further back, isn't there? Oh, it's just got very, very tight. Someone's gone wide of that first corner through there. It was Philip Salach and also Alonso Lopez coming through. It's Vietti actually on the switchback, who looks like he may well have come back through, and he has to lead them.
Yeah, Vieri found his way through on Manu Gonzalez. Manuel can find it difficult in the early laps to make overtake, so I thought when he leads into turn 1 this is perfect scenario for him, but Vieri wanted to fight immediately, so he finds his way to the head of the pack.
Yeah, David Alonso made a couple of good moves there as well. He's right behind his teammate Danny Olgado at the front then. Oh, that sat up from Salach on the outside through 6 down towards 7. This little left-right kink up the hill. Ihsan Guevara looking lively in the early stages. The race winner from France was down on the 4th row from 11th. He's up into 6th spot.
Yeah, and looking at Salach, he got roughed up a little bit with the Aspar boys, and Senna just finding his way through on Salach up the hill inside the top 10 for Senna. As you mentioned, a bit out of sorts in terms of grid position, but good rhythm here this weekend.
Yeah, and I think the door's just been open for him through turn 10 to turn underneath Canet, and he's doing so as we speak. Yeah, Aegis picks up another spot where we first saw Aegis come to our attention, really, when he finished in 5th a couple of years ago. So there he is, slotting in behind David Alonso. 8th for him, 7th for Alonso, 6th for Olgado. Guevara, brilliant from 11th on the grid up to 5th. Then it's Lopez, Ortola, Gonzalez and Polman. Celestino Vietti leads them across the line with 20 laps still to go in this Moto2 Catalan Grand Prix.
Ortola's looking good here on this first lap as well. The Kalex chassis working well for him, and the QJ Motor empty helmet squad, the MSI team. He's well positioned here, but it's early doors. The Aspar boys will come forward. Ihsan Guevara's made a good start, the dominant man from Le Mans 1 week ago.
You see there Danny Olgado trying to find a way through perhaps on Ihsan Guevara. Olgado likes to be in one spot in a race, and that's at the front. So if he can wheedle his way through to the front, you've got to watch out for him. He won this race last year by 2.5 seconds from Jake Dixon, who was closing in the end, but Olgado managed that gap so well.
Yeah, he hasn't looked as solid as he did 1 year ago. Well, it was a bit later when we visited the Catalunya racetrack last season, but this weekend Olgado just regaining the confidence we've seen in the early rounds, getting his form back, but you wouldn't rule him out from... At the moment, he's sat in 6th and he's 1 second off the leaders. He's still got a shot at this.
Then he's, Aaron Canet dropping back just ahead of his teammate Dennis Ontu now, so he's gone back into 9th, but a better weekend from the 2 Mark PDS riders. Rumours swirl around about the future of that team in Moto2, but nothing official at all at this moment in time about whether they switch their focus, their energy, should I say, on World Superbikes in the future.
But yeah, they've signed a name in Aaron Canet. I thought with a good start there inside the top 5, he's got the speed to fight, but slipping back just to the edge of the top 10. Hopefully he can fight in this one.
Big movers off the start. You can see Ihsan Guevara and David Alonso both coming forward, 6 spots, but it's Vietti leading in the early stage. Manu Gonzalez is the sort of rider in 2nd there who gets a number up on his dashboard, and that's it. I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to ride to that. He is very much able to ride to a pace.
Yeah, he can set a rhythm and he can knock those lap times out lap on lap, so consistent and smooth, and he does so with an elegance. It doesn't overwork the tyres.
Did you see what happened to Colin Fire off the start? Down in 16.
Yeah, I was trying to figure how he's ended up down there. He's got the long lap penalty, but
he hasn't taken it yet.
So. No, to be penalised with such a bad run. He's got speed and he has the hard front tyre in, which could pay off for him at the end of the race, but it's going to be a tall order from there. 3.5 seconds down and a long lap penalty to negotiate.
Yeah, Rueda is another who dropped back. Here comes Alonso Lopez on Guevara. This one could get tasty. 2 fiery individuals. Alonso Lopez, who we heard from on the grid. Good to see him, actually. He looks a lot more like his old self here this weekend.
Yeah, he's finding his way inside that Italjet squad, the Gresini team. He's had a long time on the Bosco Oscuro chassis at the Team Speed RS, and he needed a change, so Alonso Lopez will be back winning races before too long, and it's good to see him back. He was a shadow of his former self last year, and he looks much more on form as Guevara levers a way through on him into turn 10.
Yeah, but all this back and forth, this fighting here is just using a little bit of tyre for the pair of them. It's not much, nothing too much at this stage of race, but it means you might be opening that throttle that bit earlier to keep your nose in front. You know, just using a little bit more tyre than the others.
Yeah, when we watched the Moto3 race, we talked about it a lot. You could see those riders who are being smooth. And yeah, the leader, Vietti, always looks like when he's out front, on weekends like this, you know he's got such good rhythm as he imposes a fastest lap at the head of the pack here, a 41.9. He looks comfortable.
He does look comfortable, doesn't he? Is that pace too hot? We're going to find out as the race goes on. He leads us then. Gonzalez in second, Ortolo in third. Ortolo doing great. Second row of the grid, looked good all weekend. Podium, of course, last time out in France, growing all the time.
Certainly gaining confidence, and a chassis change for him this year, same team, but the switch to Kalex has unlocked a more consistent Ivan Ortola, which is good all round. They look for the return of his teammate later in the year. We haven't heard what the timeline will be to see Angel Piqueras back inside that MSI squad.
So there's a group of 8 out front with Senna Regis just at the back of it. It's behind David Alonso as Lopez is now dropped behind Olgado. No need for anyone at this stage to panic, and they include David Alonso and Senna Regis in that. This is an attritional Grand Prix in all of the classes. We saw it in Moto3, riders holding onto their tyres to the latter stages as now David Alonso moves through. I love when he spoke to Nat. He speaks so well, doesn't he? David Alonso, and that's great from Senna Regis. Alonso Lopez has made that gap there himself, hasn't he, by trying to come straight back at David Alonso.
Yeah, he almost rode into the leg of David Alonso in the middle of turn 10, and then Senna was able to set it up. You can see earlier in the race, Senna's got it turning really well around turn 12. He's got it hooking tighter, and he took advantage there, so Alonso Lopez gone to the back of this group.
As usual, though, look at how Alonso pulled away from Senna Regis at the final corner. He pulls 3 or 4 bike lengths on him, and then Regis has all the work to do on the straight. Is he just just not aero? Is that what it is, do you think?
Yeah, he is tall. You can see he juts out a bit from behind the screen when he's exiting the turn, and obviously the extra size, he's as lean as he can be. He's a proper athlete, Senna Regis, but yeah, just carries a few more kilos, and that does hurt in Moto2.
Yeah, whereas he was at 291 kilometres per hour, so you're talking about 180 miles an hour. On the other side, Ivan Ortola, for example, was about 4 miles per hour quicker.
And they're similar in terms of height, but Ortola would be skinnier. Senna carries a bit more muscles. It is, yeah, it's tricky, and we talked about it in the past when Sam Lowes was in Moto2. He typically struggled for top speed because of his stature. He was stocky. So yeah, aero has an effect, and also power to weight for Senna, it certainly hurts.
Right, we haven't said enough about Celestino Vietti, another fastest lap of the race, another lap quicker than everybody out there, and he is just opening up a gap now on this lap, 0.6 of a second. As I say, Gonzalez will not ride to the race, as in, I've got 6/10 in front of Vietti. I'm not going to chase him at this stage. For me, he's riding to his dashboard.
Yeah, a lap time. As you said earlier, he has a plan. You know that he can impose that rhythm, and he can watch or monitor the tyre drop and see if the guy in front is pulling too far away. Perhaps he might up the ante, but yeah, 6/10 of a second as it stands at the moment. I don't think Manu Gonzalez is panicking. The smoothness of Vietti would have me concerned as well. You know, he's lapping faster, but not, for my money, not using a lot of tyre to do so. So I think he's looking really solid, the number 13 out front.
You just saw Alonso Lopez starting to be cut a little bit adrift. Regis and Alonso swap positions on that straight, side by side through turn 3. Alonso still to score a podium this year, but he's the one who's, the rumours are true, factory HRC bound next year.
Yeah, that's an exciting prospect. The young Colombian David Alonso he's one of those.
Oh, set a bit wide.
Yeah, he just didn't want to tip in there with the front brake on into 5. Cost him ever so slightly on the exit, but yeah, he's right in touch still with Alonso.
Is that just because Regis has to make up all the time on the brakes all the time?
Yeah, he's got a different approach in how he has his bike turning, so he maybe has a bit more weight on the front and just feels it. You can see how much tighter he's turning at the top of the hill there at turn 9. It sets him up with a run down towards 10. Bit far back though to attempt to move on the brakes.
Twice a race winner this year, Senna Regis, 3rd in the championship.
He's been held up mid-turn though. We know Alonso's favourite. Look at this.
Oh, wow, from Senna Regis. He did it before on Lopez. Is that going to use a bit more tyre doing that, turning underneath Alonso?
Yeah, if he's doing it with the front end, not so bad, but if he's doing it with the rear, squirting the throttle, then it will use up rear tyre. But Senna typically has that superior turn in the way he likes his bike set. But yeah, will this cost him here on the run onto the straight in terms of aero? I think Alonso's going to find a way through.
I think he did this on the previous lap as well, was there alongside, and then Alonso will just ride past him. Look at that. That is just what it's like. Quartararo at the moment on the Yamaha, for example, although that looks a bit better since Le Mans.
It does, yeah. It certainly looks like they're finding something, but this just stymies the forward progression here for Senna. He needed to be through and running his corner speed here to get across to the group, so he's going to have to find a way through earlier in the lap. The turn 12 doesn't give him enough time to really get enough daylight. Look here, there he's thinking about it in the middle of turn 4. But that was going to be contact if he pressed the issue.
All the time trying to find a way through at the front. The gap is still 0.6. Still Ortola is in there behind Gonzalez. Still Guevara's. Everyone's on a watching brief here, Michael. Danny Olgado there in 5th place. No one wanting to shoot their shot too early.
Oh, Senna's got the run here, but he's on the wrong side of Alonso.
Yeah, he's going to have to chop the throttle there. Then he's going to try and get on the gas a little bit early. He's on the wrong side, though, down towards turn 10.
Alonso.
Oh, well done to Senna Aegis. If he can bring that down, he has to. I mean, he had to, didn't he?
Yeah, unfortunately. It was one of those, but he's trying to roll around the outside. I think he's going to make this one count.
He will, but you just feel like he can't make the move there and hang on to it.
No.
He's going to have to come up with another strategy to try and get enough of a gap on David Alonso. David Alonso, what will he be? He can't be 10 kilos light, because David's bulked up a bit.
Yeah, he certainly looks stockier than he did, but Senna's got a bit of a gap. Look at the top of the seat. So sometimes a rider will decide, no, he's got more pace, I'll just let him drag me up. But not the Colombian. I don't think he's going to give it to him easy here.
Of course he won't.
Even though he's carrying the injury, I think he did on this occasion, decided not to tough it out on the brakes.
I still think Senna's going to go deep, but is he going to hang on this time? That's what he had to do. Now Senna has a lap to try and put some space between himself and Alonso and try and claw back that gap to Olgado. The problem is, when he does that, what's the gap now? 1.3, and it's just going to use more tyre, and this is pretty much, I would guess, their shot at victory, just fading ever so slightly.
Yeah, you're using tyre front and rear, making those overtakes. You're going to use tyre to bridge the gap. It's difficult. You can't actually just impose a nice smooth rhythm as these front three are doing at the moment.
Celestino Vietti's just rolled the pace back ever so slightly, 1:42.2, identical lap time to Gonzalez and Ortola on that previous lap.
Shop window time for these Moto2 riders for MotoGP seats that are been considered. Celestino Vietti as a VR46 rider. We talked about it in years gone by. When he has weekends like this, you think, yeah, he'd make a great MotoGP rider, but he hasn't had the consistency this year. 4th in the championship, you got to say his consistency has improved. He's 2 rounds on board WP suspension now, so a bit of a shift there seems to have worked for the Speed RS team. Likewise, Luca Lunetta, the rookies, coming into shot here behind Philip Salac. It's made a step for them, the suspension change.
Yeah, only 1 podium to his name so far this year, but does sit 4th in the championship, just 26.5 behind Manuel Gonzalez. So, you know, he's done all right. There is Senna Aegis. He's held on to the lead this time throughout the whole lap. The problem is, look at this. Just look at the ground being eaten up by David Alonso. Then he's got to go hard and deep on the brakes once more. And it's that yo-yo effect. It's costing him, and it will on circuits like this with big long straights. We've seen it in the past for Senna.
Yeah, although Senna first full clean lap and he was only able to do a 43.1. Compare that with a 42.4 at the head of the pack for Celestino Vietti. I don't think he's got the pace today, even though the shots we've seen, it looked like he had better turning, but yeah, the speed down the front straight's just hurting him.
So Vietti leads. There's Gonzalez. Ortola still keeping Gonzalez honest. We haven't spoken enough about Ivan Ortola, but has looked good in these early stages.
Yeah.
That class of riders coming through from Moto3 in 2024, there's Ortola there, Alonso, Olgado and Fire. That's been the best transition of riders from the junior class up into the middleweight class for a long time. It's got to have something to do with Pirelli.
Undoubtedly. I think the Pirelli tyre has made the transition from Moto3 to Moto2 easier. I don't want to say it's easy. It certainly isn't by any means, as we're seeing with the likes of Jose Antonio Rueda. It takes some time, but Luca Lunetta, as a rookie here, is inside the top 10, and he's had an injury and missed races already this year. But yeah, I think that crop, or a talented bunch, with whenever you hear those names: Ortola, Holgado, Alonso, Bayer. He's having a tough day today with that long lap penalty, but he is a class act. So yeah, they are certainly names for the future in MotoGP. We do expect them to potentially put names on contracts in the next 3 years, I would say.
Something's happened down the order. David Alonso just dropping back. I wonder if this is just a bit of shoulder pain now, or was it an Alonso-Lopez move? On that lap, I saw Lopez get through, and then Salah get through soon afterwards. I wonder if the two things were related there, potentially.
Quite possible.
Or it's shoulder starting to have its effect. Further back, I want to just mention Jose Antonio Rueda, up to 12th. And after everything he's been through, after the start to the season that was difficult, finally showing just why he's a Moto3 world champion, and why previously he'd doubled up in rookies and junior GP.
Yeah, it takes some time as a rookie, and you have to factor in the recovery period from those injuries at the end of last season, and it is beginning to click for Rueda down inside the AO garage.
He's a class act. He's a class act, is Jose Antonio. He's just a little bit behind Luca Lunetta, who's doing a really good ride as a rookie down there in 10th place on the bright number 32 Speed RS bike. There is Aegis with Lopez behind through turn 10. Salah having another good ride in 8th spot. He's certainly woken up in the last couple of weekends. David Alonso behind them, Lunetta 10th, then Danny Munoz, who was on the podium here last year, you'll remember. He's in 11th, Rueda 12th, Baltas 13th, Canet 14th, Ayumu Sasaki having a decent weekend as well, in the final point scoring position ahead of Denis Onshu.
Baltas has been a bit quiet this weekend.
Yeah, had a crash, didn't he? Had one at turn 5-1. This is a start again. Keep an eye on Colin Fire. What happened here, do we think? Gonzalez made the best launch from the left. What happens with Fire?
He just bogged down, yeah. On the clutch release, just not quite getting the acceleration he needs, and he's getting swallowed up. So on a day when he had the long lap penalty to negotiate, not what he needed, the young Dutchman. That's pretty much ruined his race there already by turn 1. Oh, and Ayumu Sasaki picks him up as well, and that looks like turn 10, was it?
I think that might be 5. It looked like the one dropping down the hill. We've got a long lap penalty come in for Alex Escritch. He's entered the pits, and he's had a long lap for causing a crash.
Was that the crash?
That the one yesterday?
Qualifying? Yeah, I think perhaps it was.
Why has it only popped up now?
Not sure. We did talk about it.
No one's crashed in this race, so yeah. Anyway, causing contact is what it's come up on our timing screens, but that's Escritch had already come into the pit, so maybe a problem for him.
This man not quite got the pace this weekend that we've seen from him in Le Mans, where he was dominant. Izan Guevara, the second Bosco-Oscuro in this race. He's being bandied about in terms of a potential Yamaha MotoGP seat for next season. I did hear a rumour that if he was the top Bosco-Oscuro by a certain point in the season, which he currently is in terms of points, then that would activate a clause in his contract to give him the MotoGP seat, which probably would be at the expense of Jack Miller rather than Toprak, as I believe he's got a Yamaha contract that sees him a multi-year agreement, let's say. But
I found it interesting with Toprak that they haven't given him the factory seat in the factory team. I found that strange.
I guess, well, maybe they feel he needs time, but with a Pirelli and 850 switch happening next year,
I'd want Toprak in my factory squad. I want to give him everything I've got. I'd rate him, and look, see, it looks like it's going to be Martin and Agura there, but still, for me, I'd be having Toprak all the way. On board with Senna Aegis now. Behind him, Lopez, Salah and Alonso. They're lining up behind Senna.
I do wonder if Senna overheated his tyres making those overtakes. He just doesn't seem to have the pace that obviously we've evidenced at times throughout this year, where he can get into a good rhythm, and he likes this racetrack, normally always fast here.
Alex Escrich has retired from the race. Xabi Zurutuza's got a long lap penalty, so not a good couple of minutes for the forward team. At the front, Michael, look at the gap, top left, 0.5, just closing ever so slightly, as you see a little bit of dicing going on behind Stena Aegis between Lopez and Salach. Just keep an eye on that, because the lap times now are dropping, 42.7. As we said, last year was 4 seconds between the early laps and the final 3 or 4 laps of the race.
Yeah, we're just past half race distance, and it is, at the moment, the lap times are dropping, but it's not quite dropping off a cliff as yet. But the dynamic of the race changes a lot when that does happen in Moto 2. Some really struggle to tip it in, some lose a lot of pace. Be interesting to see how these tyres hold up today.
That's the battle for 6th or 7th now, with Alonso Lopez there on the 21 in 7th, Salach in 8th on the number 12, behind David Alonso on the 80 in 9th spot, still nursing a right shoulder injury. Top left of your screen, we're on board with Celestino Vietti, 0.6 ahead of Manu Gonzalez and Ivan Ortola. Ivan Ortola's the one to keep an eye on here.
He has been impressive every lap, consistently matching the number 18 in front of him, Manu Gonzalez. And we always assume that he's got the long race plan in mind with a day like today for Manu Gonzalez, but yeah, you could factor in that the chassis of the Bosco-Oscuro may provide an advantage for Celestino in terms of tyre wear. It may be the other way, that the Kalex has got this all in order, or the smooth riding Ivan Ortola in the back of shot.
Out of turn 9, there is Ortola on the number 4 in 3rd spot. A few more track limits warnings coming up. Garcia, Sasaki. There's Salach on your screens from the helicopter on the run towards turn 10. Olgado's got a track limits warning, he's there in 5th. Danny Munoz also. It's the yellow, the warning triangle on the left-hand side next to a rider's name. We get it as a yellow flash in our timing screens, but that's what it's denoting.
It does look like it should be yellow in terms of a road signal, but
yeah.
Olgado's got one, Danny Munoz, Sasaki all need to be careful.
Last lap, Michael, Manu Gonzalez, just a couple of tenths quicker than Celestino Vietti. Gap under half a second for the first time in a while. We'll be watching the gap at the front. This is still the battle for 6th. We've seen a lot of it in this race. Celestino Vietti is managing things. His pace now to that high 142s, nearly in the 143s. Bear in mind, his fastest lap of the race has been a 141.9, so a second slower. His pole lap, another second quicker, 141.0.
And they will drop further from here. I expect to see laps dropping down into the 44-second range for these leaders over these last 8 laps.
We already have for some of the runners at the back. Don't know what's happened to Joe Roberts, but someone who loves this track normally, he's entering the pits. Some problem for Joe Roberts' bike.
That's a shame for Joe. The American does tend to go well at flowing racetracks like these, and yeah, it's not been a good weekend for him, although Philip Salach looking good here. Good to see him back on form for the American racing squad.
Yeah, Joe Roberts crashed out the lead here, didn't he?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. I remember he had a was it turn 5?
Yeah. There he is. It's impossible to catch anyone. Don't know what was happening there, but a problem obviously. And Joe was running at the back and has decided to retire from the race. We'll find out more later on. Gaps opening up. This is what can happen, you know, Michael, isn't it? Where people talk about, now in Moto2 you are still managing it, right? But these people they're at the limit, aren't they? And it just creates these little slight gaps, and that just gaps the field ever so slightly.
Yeah, you're trying to be precise, trying to be as careful as you can be on the tyre consumption, and yeah, you can have the accordion effect around here, parts of the racetrack where you work better in terms of the front end or in terms of turning, like we see from Stena Aegis, although Sena's looked comfortable these last few laps at the head of this group.
Just in terms of the pace, these guys are running a 43.6 for Aegis, 43.7 for those behind. At the front, 43.0 for Vietti, 43.1 for Gonzalez, 43.2 for Ortola, 43.4 for Guevara, 43.5 for Olgado. You know, each 10th difference there is why we've just got this slightly spread out top 7.
Yeah, just looking at the pace from the race victor last year, Danny Holgado, not as many lap times in the 42-second range last year. Celestino's only just dropping into the 43s now as he's completing lap 15. So it is certainly been run at a slightly faster pace this year. Obviously, Pirelli tyre will change. It seems like the Moto2 out of all the classes, the only ones who've been close or matching the pace from last year are better in it.
Also, conditions completely different.
A lot cooler here. It was hot when we were here in September last year.
Still the gap, 0.6 at the front. Is that going to change? When does Gonzalez think, right, all bets are off here, I'm going to have to go for it now, and I'm going to have to start spending my tyre if I want to have a chance of winning this race? How late in the race can he afford that to be?
Well, he'll have watched the Moto3 race and seen how that unfolded. Track limits warning for Manu. That isn't what he'll want to see on his dashboard, but yeah, he's got to get his head down as Alonso Lopez finds a way back through on Senna Aegis into turn 1.
And again, Aegis turns it better in 1, but he has no response on a straight.
Although Alonso Lopez has a habit of using up his rear tyre. I remember him being a sitting duck here a couple of years ago on that day when Senna Aegis really came forward. So let's see, it's getting to that stage in the race.
You can see them, can't you, through there as they just are moving about now, the bikes and the tyres.
Get a lot of wheel spin at turns 3 and 4. It just generates surface temperature. And
look at the front. You see the front banding on the right of Senna's front tyre there. So that's someone to keep an eye on.
When your front tyre bands, it's impossible. You just cannot turn. You can't lean on it. You can't trust that you're not going to wash the front out. So yeah, he'd be having a tough time. Actually, I think Holgado's front tyre's marked as is Alonso's, but Senna's looks worse for sure.
They're all suffering. They've all got problems at this stage of the race as the lap times start to drip away. At the front, the gap still at that 0.5, 0.6 of a second. They're both riding a superb race, Vietti and Gonzalez.
The pace of Gonzalez is upped a bit in comparison with the leader, so down to just under half a second this time of the gap.
Barry Baltus is now Senna Aegis, a sitting duck once more. Is Alonso going to come through as well? Look at Alonso's pace. And actually, Aegis holds on the brakes. Salatz thought he'd made the move and ends up dropping a spot back to 9th. At the front, the gap closest it's been, 0.413 now.
Yeah, I think it's getting to that point where we're going to see what Manu Gonzalez has in the tank if he's been saving a bit of tyre for the end of this race to fight.
Got the same tyres on, Vietti and Gonzalez, even Ortola as well, all on the same sets of rubber. There's last year's winner, Holgado in 5th, a lonely 5th from him. And in front of him, a lonely 4th for Guevara. Alonso Lopez is pulled away now from Senna Aegis.
Senna called it well on that front tyre mark, and that's certainly costing him. Look at the front tyres of the 2 leaders. They look in slightly better nick. The right side is marked ever so slightly on the 13, but Gonzalez is coming.
It's the closest it's been now. Quarter of a second. Manuel Gonzalez, race winner in Thailand, in tricky conditions there, but for different reasons. Shortened race, of course, so he only got half points for that win. But looking to take his 5th podium of the season. Can he make it a 2nd win in round 6 of the championship? Last year's runner-up in the series.
Got a yellow flag in sector 3. I'm looking at the timing screens to see who we have lost. Oh, Weyer. That's the end of what has been a tough day after a difficult start. A long lap penalty, contact with the Yumi Sasaki. The Dutchman will bounce back in Mugello in a couple of weeks' time, but not the weekend he was after.
Senna Aegis drops back 2 spots on a straight, unsurprisingly, although Salatz has run it a little bit too deep in there when he comes back. Does he find? No, Senna not able to go through. So soon we're going to need to start seeing the battle at the front, because the gap is now at 0.3, and with just under 4 laps remaining, who is going to run out victorious in this race?
We've got two of the top three, both with track limits warnings at the moment. So Ortola's joined
Look at the gap.
Manny Gonzalez.
Top left, look at the gap, 0.1 of a second between Vietti and Gonzalez, the closest it's been at any stage in this race.
3.5 laps to go. There is Colin Byer on the service road, but yeah, it's be interesting to see what's happened. Oh, he's lost it on the way up towards turn 9. That's a very strange place to crash.
Odd one for Colin Byer.
Someone's took his handlebar out, maybe. Yeah, strange one.
Here we go then. Vietti on the 13. The 18 behind is Gonzalez. Just looks like he's able to turn there better down into turn 10. Wider line now from Vietti. He's rolling around turn 12 all the time, trying not to spin up too much.
The pictures we've seen of Vietti spinning a lot more.
See there again. Yeah. Gonzalez could well have this in the run. That was where the gap closed right down.
The right side of his tyre is shot. You can see it moving, pumping, and then when it starts to walk around on entry, you lose all confidence, you lose your roll speed, and Manu sees it, he's ready to pounce.
Yeah, he smelt blood in the water here, and Manuel Gonzalez levels Vietti down towards turn 1. Vietti toughs it out, but he knows he's under pressure now. Has to find a way through. Back on Gonzalez, who takes the lead for the first time in this race. Has Gonzalez judged this one to perfection? Or now that Vietti can have a look as Gonzalez lights up the rear through turn 3. That was beautiful from Gonzalez.
Yeah, he's certainly left some rubber, and now he's going to use it on these last 2.5 laps. But Celestino's trying to find a way to fight back here.
It still looks like he's able to turn it, doesn't he? But then on the drive part, Gonzalez just stretches out a lead on Vietti now.
Gonzalez looked to be in a bit deep, but pulls it back, V's the corner very well, gets a nice exit. Vietti's not going to go down without a fight here. He's ready to try and find a way to get back through on Manu Gonzalez.
The good thing for Vietti is he's having a look now. He's able to have a see. Right, where's he got tyre, where I haven't got tyre? This is where he had that huge moment. A lap ago. Chelly Vietti on the 13 on the orange bike behind. Manu Gonzalez on the black and red Dynavolt bike leading this race. It's the Kalex versus the Boscosgro. And the same here.
Yeah, he's about to get it through on Ortola.
Late race pace now into the 44s they've gone. We said that would happen. 3 or 4 seconds from where they were at the start of the race, and Guevara comes forward.
It does look. Last time around, Vietti dropped into the 44s for the first time, and that was Manu's sign to pounce, to move forward. But I'm impressed with the fight back from Vietti. He's still right in touch within a 1/10 of a second.
So this is the battle for third place. Still it's raging on between the leaders, between Gonzalez and Vietti as they go down towards turn 1. We've got a helicopter shot and we can see Vietti was almost just alongside. There we are. And Gonzalez still leading. Vietti, though, has not given up the ghost.
No, it looks like he's just kicked it up a gear in terms of his body language. Look at this, he's trying to roll.
Oh, look at that. Gonzalez on the inside, Vietti on the outside of it.
Spinning all the way out there. He's trying to use his front tyre to gain any advantage. He's trying to roll on Manu everywhere. This is impressive to watch, but he's just not got the rear tyre left on the right-hand side.
So this is where Gonzalez, just look at the ground that he makes up in the drive part there, on that edge, on that shoulder, applying the throttle coming out of the corners. Oh, Vietti's had a big moment there.
Yeah, riding on board, you can see trying to get the power down. It's spun up on the left side as well. His tyre is shot.
It is, so is Gonzalez, but just by... Oh, they saw it. That was the moment from off the bike. Is that it? Is that where the race has been won? By Gonzalez, who is super precise, super consistent. How close does he think that Vietti is, though? Oh, and he's out of shape down into turn 10. But so is Vietti. There'll be 1 lap to go when they round the stadium section and cross the finish line. Who's it going to be? Can Vietti find a way through? He's led all of this race from the start. Gonzalez has stalked him. Can Vietti come back at him? They're both lighting up the rear, smoke pouring off the rears of the bike. When they cross the start-finish line now, there is 1 lap to go in this race. More smoke off the rear tyres.
Manu's just looks a bit more settled when it spins up and goes sideways than Vietti's. He just seems like he's got stability there, whereas Vietti's certainly lighting it up and getting it all squirrely.
Throughout the weekend, Gonzalez has been around the 15th, 16th, 17th place marks, but what he's been doing is riding on used tyres and getting the right feeling that he needs at this stage of the race.
It could well pay off for Manu Gonzalez. He looks well settled here. Vietti.
Philip Salac around the outside there of Alonso Lopez up towards turn 3. Oh, that's lovely from Salac. Surely runs wide. Lopez will surely try and turn underneath him. At the front, the gap is just still getting tight between Gonzalez and Vietti. This is the battle for 8th place, 7th and 8th between Lopez. There's the front. Gonzalez ahead of Vietti. A wide entry from Gonzalez, cuts it back across.
Vietti's trying to set something up. It can only really be turn 10, but Gonzalez very good out of turn 5 just to put a small margin between the two. Look at Celestino though.
Get another wobble. On the brakes, actually, Vietti is closing in on him. So we've got 4 more corners to go, 5 of course, including turn 10. And that's where they're running towards now. No way through. Is there a way that Vietti perhaps could turn underneath him into turn 12? He runs around the outside. It's not going to be, is it? Unless he can emulate his mentor, Valentino Rossi, in the final corner. Both of them lighting up the rear. Surely Gonzalez has this done. 2 more corners to negotiate. Down the hill they plunge. He's trying so much, but the bike just will not drive forward for Celestino Vietti. And out of the final corner, judged to perfection from last year's runner-up and championship leader, Manuel Gonzalez wins his 2nd race of 2026. An epic finish in Moto2. Holds his biceps aloft as if to say, I'm the strong man here today. That meant a lot to Manu. He wins the Catalan Grand Prix. Vietti brilliant, but only 2nd. Guevara takes a solid podium in 3rd spot. Ortola is 4th, Olgado 5th, Alonso 6th in the end, coming back, judging his pace. Salac is 7th, Lopez 8th, Lunetta 9th, and Senna just rounds out the top 10. A pat on the back from Ivan Ortola, but that will mean so much to Manu.
You can see he's not usually that demonstrative. That means a lot to Manu Gonzalez today. He's worked with the plan all weekend, as you said, down the order on old tyres, and it paid dividends today. So when he got to the front, both the leaders were squirrely, they were spinning and sliding, but he controlled it best.
2nd win of the season, 5th podium for Manu Gonzalez, who extends his lead in the World Championship. His first full 25-point haul of the year. We'll be back with his celebrations after the break.
Finals. They're just not normal. Incredible. It's the legend making. What about that? Heart racing. Can you believe itness of them all? Go on, Pards.
You can't beat a final.
You're not wrong, Lindsay. They're just not normal.
It's been an extraordinary journey. What a night, what a performance, what a season.
One of the greatest matches ever. It's not normal. All these finals, all in one place, live on TNT Sports.
Hello, Ida. Play my music.
The new Volkswagen T-Roc.
Stop there. You know being a soldier is about focus, right? What you want to know is, what's in it for me? At school, I thought I was too shy to join the army, but look at me now. I'm able to talk to anyone, even you, sir. That's what was in it for me.
I've had clouds, but I have had so many rainbows. And the thing to do, it seems to me, is to prepare yourself so that you can be a rainbow in somebody else's cloud. Be a rainbow in the clouds.
Welcome back to Barcelona, Catalonia, where Manuel Gonzalez has broken down. He's in tears. He's been hugged by the Orange Army down there, and he has extended his lead in the World Championship with victory in the Moto2 race. A brilliant stalking victory. And there'll be more excitement, I'm sure, over at Donington Park today, day 2 of the BSB there to take place. That's live from 1 p.m. on HBO Max. And, of course, in Most, the Czech round of World Superbikes. Race 2 coming up live today, 2 p.m. on TNT Sports 4. There is so much bike action here this weekend across TNT Sports and on the HBO Max app. Here in Catalonia, Manu Gonzalez was sublime today to take that second victory of the season. He's riding round on the service road. This is in front of the Marc Marquez and Alex Marquez fans. That's where myself and Nat were early on today. And he's just riding round to soak up the atmosphere. And he's, well, I have to say, I've never seen him as emotional as we saw him after the race.
Yeah, it means a lot to him today. That we're probably going to find out why he's so emotional after that one. But yeah, you can see he's almost beating his chest with his bravado. He's proud of his performance. He's controlled it well today. But yeah, enjoying it, soaking it up with the Spanish fans here.
So he should, you know, he should be proud. He has stalked Celestino Vietti throughout, pounced with 3 laps to go and gone on to take victory in the race. David Alonso, middle of the race, you wonder whether he was going to fade, but he judged it well. Isan Guevara might have beaten Ortola to the line, but Ortola still providing the push to bring him back to pit lane. Another podium for Guevara, extends his position as second in the championship. Celestino Vietti moves up to 3rd ahead of Senna Aegis, who was only 10th today. He struggled in the latter laps. His pace was a 1:46. He was 5 seconds down on that last couple of laps.
Yeah, it didn't work for Senna. I think the front tyre going quite early on him ruined his race today.
And that's probably, he was forced to do those moves because on the straight he was being completely and utterly beaten up.
It seemed that way. He was having to force the issue to regain the track position to make those overtakes, and then just overworked his front Pirelli tyre today.
But great for Guevara. Bosco Scuro working for him. 3rd place. Is he MotoGP bound? Celestino Vietti's put himself back in the shop window. But what does Manu Gonzalez have to do to get himself a MotoGP ride? That, he rode like a MotoGP star today.
Yeah, perhaps because it's shop window time and he knows he's been slightly overlooked, and to deliver a performance like that when questions are being asked of who's the talent, who's the crop that we want to be looking at as the next MotoGP riders, and he's just set his stall out there today.
So sweet for Manu. Tears aplenty, but merited, well worth it. That's not just physical, that's mental exertion, isn't it, for Manu there?
Yeah, the stocking process, the managing your tyres, it's less physically intense, but it is draining. It's mental to be able to control yourself, control your inputs, and make sure you're being gentle with everything.
Frustrations for Senna Aegis down there today. A little bit of a smile still afterwards, but yeah, he'll have seen his teammate on top spot, and that will be galling to see that when you've been dropping back in the latter stages. Even the leaders though, Michael, 44.6 from Manu Gonzalez at the end of that race. You know, that's still from the ideal lap time about 3 seconds back.
Yeah, a decent drop, no doubt, but the lead duo, they controlled it better than the rest. They were the only two able to stay inside that. Actually, I say that David Alonso was still in the 44s last time around, and Philip Salat. So yeah, it was a tyre consumption, tyre wear race, but Manu Gonzalez exerted it perfectly.
Celestino Vietti will be gutted. Led from the off. And look, he rode an excellent race, kept his pace, judged it well, just beaten by Gonzalez today. Let's hear it from Isan Guevara, first of all.
What a performance that is, coming through from 11th on the grid to take 3rd late on. Just how difficult a race was that to manage?
Yeah, I'm so happy. Amazing comeback. I started in P11 and I finished in P3. This is amazing, great work. Yesterday for a race to my best setting. and I'm so happy with the race because this comeback it's amazing. I managed the tire really good with all the race, and I'm so happy.
Great ride, well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, had to fight his way through. Another one who judged it well, saved that move on Ortola. A couple laps to go. Ortola faded, but again, more credit in the bank for Ivan, but bettered by Isan.
Got assisted back to the pit lane as well. You can see his front tyre was fairly shot towards the end.
It's a great shot, isn't it? On the high motion camera, you can just see what they're dealing with in the right-handers.
And a fourth podium for Isan. He's definitely got the consistency this year in terms of the title race.
Still, Manuel Gonzalez cannot control the emotions. I have never seen. He's Mr. Cool. It's like a Ken doll, isn't he? Sometimes he's just like this straight face. He is, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's just expressionless on occasion, and yet today it's all coming out for Manuel. I want to know how Celestino Vietti feels. I think he's down there with Jack Abrion now. We're about to find out.
Well, Celestino, you gave that race absolutely everything. It was obvious in those closing laps that the rear tyre just had nothing left. What are your emotions like at the end of it?
Yeah, no, overall happy. Not too much for the end because I tried to manage the rear because I know that was maybe the point that I have to work. But at the end, in the last 4 laps, I don't have much more to give. So happy for the result, happy for the work of the team. We need to work a little bit. Fortunately, we had the test, so we can maybe improve something on the riding style on the bike to improve.
Top job, well done.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao a tutti.
Yeah, but throughout the year, it's been consistently in the top spots. Pole over the weekend. It's a step in the right direction. The challenge now for Celestino is to keep it rolling. He's third in the championship. Oh, that was where it went. That's where I think he knew his goose was cooked.
Yeah, it gave Manu a sniff and he immediately pounced down the front straight into turn 1. But yeah, test here on Tuesday. This is the last test of the year for the Moto2 field, and Celestino looking to find a bit of something in terms of setting a rider position on the bike, getting more comfortable.
Almost snubbed by Manu, who's still in that emotional embrace with his team. Right, let's hear what that meant to Manuel Gonzalez.
Manu, that performance was phenomenal to chase down Celestino and eventually take him. We can see the emotion. Why does this victory mean so much to you?
I think I've just done the best race of my life. I have all these emotions coming out because I am pushing myself harder and harder every day, never surrounding, never. I will never surround, I will never give up everywhere I am pushing every day for myself, and today I think it all came out. The people that is together with me helping, they know what we are suffering. Not I'm talking just about last year, but all my life I was pushing always to a limit, never giving nothing space to anyone. I'm pushing myself, so this is like the top, and I'm like, I just won the championship. I know it's not, but this race is very important for me, and yeah, the team did an amazing job, all the people. I cannot talk anymore. Muchísimas gracias a la afición española que siempre dan ese plus para que los pilotos españoles podamos ganar, así que nada, let's continue, let's keep working, as they always say, piano.
Huge congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Deeply emotional interview there by Manu Gonzalez, and we could see that he didn't seem to be able to stop crying in Parc Ferme. We were like, I wonder what's going on here. I mean, he said it's not just about last year losing the championship as it sort of unfurled away from him, but clearly he's in a situation where a lot's been going on in his head, and today he's kind of stamped his authority and gone, you might not be looking at me, maybe just guessing for MotoGP, but I'm doing it. I'm leading the championship. I'm winning races.
Yeah, but he will he will be feeling like he's been overlooked. Yeah. I mean, last year, obviously, he lost out in the race to get a MotoGP seat to Diogo Moreira, and he lost out in the championship as well. And this year, he's doing everything right. He's leading the championship, and he's been overlooked. I mean, he's not getting the opportunity. And the problem is, if you don't go to MotoGP next year, which is a great opportunity with the Pirelli tires, with more natural bikes, the bikes are going to be big Moto2s, basically. And he's not getting that opportunity. Some of, well, a few of the guys that are racing in Moto2 are getting that opportunity, and he's obviously frustrated because he's doing everything right, but yeah, unfortunately, it looks like it's not going to happen for him. And then what it means effectively is that you kick that down another 2 years to go up to MotoGP eventually, because that's how long the contracts are going to be for next year. So
yeah, of course,
it's tough for him.
Let's have a look at him on track then, where he was making it count, and any opportunity he had, he took, like this one with the Vietti mistake.
Yeah, this is Vietti with no tyre. That's a closed throttle. When it lets brake traction so violently on corner entry on a closed throttle, that means you have nothing left. We looked at the lap times, we were watching the lap times throughout the race. Vietti was, let's say, brave to go. It was down in the 41s. Bear in mind, at this point now, we're doing high 44s. It's incredible, isn't it, how much they've dropped off?
Yeah.
But it was a class move. It was the ultimate, it was the perfect race for Gonzalez, because he stalked his prey. The gap got up to about a second into, but he never panicked. He stuck to his game plan, and he stamped his authority, and he showed the rest of the world that he is the real deal. And do you know what? I absolutely love to see that emotion.
Yeah.
We've not seen much from him, any emotion, and it just shows that that's the champion you're dealing with.
He's undone the tap there, and it's all flooding out, Gareth. He said it's his best race ever, and maybe it is.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, he's rode some brilliant races already, hasn't he? But just the judgment, to the patience to, in those early laps of the race, to know, yeah, I can't afford to go into the 141s, and it paid dividends, didn't it? It's like an investment in those early stages of the race, and it's paid off. He's lost his bottle. Winging it around, and it's gone flying off the podium into the crowd below. I'm so pleased for him, pleased for the team. Been an emotional time for that whole team. Gianluca down there on the team. He waves up to his colleague Roberto Lunardet as they take the trophy and extend their lead in the team's championship to 62 points over the Aspar squad. Izan Guevara, back-to-back podiums for him after his win in France, but an excellent ride from 11th on the grid. It didn't work in qualifying. There's every chance he's going to be in MotoGP next year. Cool trophies, aren't they, where they spin around. Second place will be bittersweet for Celestino Vietti today. Yeah, his second podium of the year, but he led for the lion's share of that race. Just pipped in the end, his tyre was gone. And that gave Manuel Gonzalez the opportunity to come past. Never challenged again from that moment. And Manuel Gonzalez wins for the second time this year. It means so much to him, so much to the team. Surely someone can find a spot for him in MotoGP. In the meantime, he can enjoy on the top step of the podium here in Catalonia the Spanish national anthem.
Was brilliantly engineered by the top man, Manu Gonzalez, who seems to be unleashed today. Pushed very hard all the way by Celestino Vietti, but it wasn't to be today for the Italian. with those tyres going off. A solid third spot for Mallorca's Izan Guevara, and that lines up your podium for Moto2. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, the Premier Class MotoGP is next.
TNT Sports, powered by BYD.
This is where champions leave their mark. Roland Garros, exclusively live on TNT Sports.
With Funding Circle, you're part of something bigger. We are team.
My staff, they're my starting lineup.
We are grit.
We've taken hits, but push forward.
We are speed.
Funding Circle backing gives us the edge.
With fast, fair and hassle-free finance, we back businesses to win. We are Funding Circle.
Eggs that go on toast, or eggs that go on social media. Everything eggs from Ocado, the online supermarket.
Looking for more space? The Tiger Shed sale is now on. Get your paws on a great deal with big savings on living space, working space, storage space, gardening space, and more. All at the perfect price. Only at tigersheds.com. Sale now on.
With the UK's best breakdown service, you'll be back on the road in no time. That's why millions of drivers choose the AA. Join today.
I can't shake them.
What are you doing?
I can't get up. Help me, won't you?
Oh, there are other ways to get them. Here, take a Red Bull and think of something. Well, and now, any ideas?
Yeah, I'll get the beaver.
Well, there you go.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Huh?
You watch Friends, right?
How are you doing?